everybody. Welcome to the live stream. I'm super happy to be here today because we get to talk about an amazing part of using your system correctly, which is helping you ensure that you're learning from your weekly, monthly, and quarterly progress and ensuring that you're doing the next review or the next cycle better than ever before. Because I think the problem is a lot of us end up going through life not necessarily knowing exactly how we've been improving over the course of the time that we've been spending together. And also, together with our system, that is, and also ensuring that we are doing the best that we can to level up as much as we can. So today, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about exactly how do you do your review cycles, how do you start them appropriately, and in a way that will essentially make it so that it's seamless for you to learn from each and every single win that you make, each and every single, a mistake that you made as well. And hopefully you can make it in a process so that you can continuously learn as fast as you can and not have to make the same mistake again. And also just get so much insights from your own system. So we're going to do this masterclass for you. And I really hope that you guys, learn as much as you can from it. And if you have any questions at all, just let me know at any time and I'll pause and I'll answer your questions so that we make sure that we are, doing our best together to figure out this out as well. And we're going to be doing this for our own system as well. So I'm going to be live showing you how we're going to be doing our review cycles for the whole community. I'll be putting myself in a position of, if I'm planning for the whole community, what am I thinking about on a quarterly level? What am I thinking about on a monthly level? What am I thinking on a weekly level? And hopefully that will give you some insights on how you can plan your review cycles as well. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. So we're going to go ahead and move over here. And basically, you can see here is that we, as always, want to talk about the why, what's, and how, just so everyone is very clear on what exactly we want to accomplish in this live stream. So really the why is that we haven't had a masterclass on this topic that has been public so far. Like this is like really the first time I'm openly sharing with everybody in the whole world, I guess, how we are being intentional about success, how we are doing review cycles within the system. And don't worry, even if you're not using the current system that's found in our Code3 toolbox, we've really made it I'm going to structure today's live stream as a way to show you on a conceptual level, really also how a review cycles can be held. And of course, if you do want a template to follow, then you can feel free to use our systems from the, for a better life from our Code3 toolbox. So without further ado, let's also talk about, what exactly and how exactly we're going to do this. So what we're going to accomplish at the end of the day, what I hope you guys can walk away with is a solid understanding of how to start your review cycles properly, how to think about them, how to plan them, and how to utilize them in a way that will guide you and give you direction for the next season ahead. And we also want to be clear and show you like a transparency of how Code3 is going, right? I want to show you exactly how we would plan on a Code3 level and say, hey, this is what's going on so far. This is what our outlook is. This is what we're excited about. And hopefully that gives you some honesty and hopefully opens up some, transparency for you as well. So you can understand, hey, what's going on with Code3 as well. So if anything, this will be entertaining for you in that way. So, but the idea is that you can learn the best practices of holding review cycles. And ideally, we can create an article on this and more downstream content to really just give you more and more insights on how exactly this happens. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off by going to our review cycles dashboard. And just as a reference, if you don't remember already or you don't know already, basically our ideas, our review cycles is that we want to meaningfully reflect every cycle, which is week, month, and quarter, in order to live an intentional life. And our idea is that we can do this by putting on different hats at different points in time. So as a refresher on this, basically, if you think about an organization, you wouldn't have one person in an organization start planning everything in the org, right? Unless you're like a really scrappy startup, it's really difficult for one person to put on that many hats at one time, where it's like, hey, what's the direction of the company going? What's the inspiring dream of the company, right? The vision and mission, what's the everyday resources that we need to make this all a reality, and then finally, what are the things we're going to do every day to get things done? If you have to think about all those things every single day, it can get really, really complicated and get really, really frustrating very quickly because you get lost. So what we've designed is that we wanted to create a way for you to easily portion yourself out in different mindsets, and by putting yourself in that mindset, you're more adequately equipped in order to succeed in that stage of planning. So for example, as the director, you might have a quarterly responsibility to determine your direction. So what do when you determine direction? You determine the values you stand for, as well as the areas of competence that you want to be known for. That's it, right? And then when you're the founder, you have a monthly responsibility to determine your dreams. So based on the values and areas so far, you determine the goals and the key results. And then as the manager, you have the weekly responsibility to scout for the resources to make your dream a reality. So it's time for you to figure out how by creating projects to work on. And obviously the last one is the project manager, is where you're putting the daily hours to get things done. You take the key results and projects out for you and prioritize tasks to complete them. So basically at every stage, you ignore everything above you other than just referencing them. And you know everything below you because you don't want to think about that right now. And you only think about exactly what am I focusing on planning at this moment so you don't get overwhelmed. The whole point of this is that we want to avoid overwhelm. We want to make sure that you are getting the best kind of intentional reflection that you can and ensure that you are just moving forward one step at a time. So let's get straight into, figuring out our quarterly review first. And again, I'm going to design this from scratch so that, you guys can see this is the first time we're actually doing this live for everybody. We're going to show you, exactly how you would do it if you just land into the system, if you're just doing your first quarterly review and just really setting out your intentions for your coming season as well. So I'm going to press on new here. And what we see here is that, and again, like I said, I'm going to talk conceptually as well, so you don't have to worry if you don't have a system of your own. But the idea is that what we want to do is we want to start by setting up what's the period of this quarter. So we want to go ahead and want to say April 1st, and the end date of this would be the end of June. So that's 3 months. And then what we want to do here is we want to rename this. So this is Q2 2023. And we want to probably add a fancy cover image as well. So first of all, let's think of the theme. So the theme for me, when I think about the theme for this quarter, is revitalization. So revitalization. And it's okay if you don't have something that comes up immediately in mind, but the idea is that you want to come up with something that basically helps you encapsulate the quarter in one sentence, right? Or in one phrase. And for me, I also like to add a cover that helps me understand really the intention of this quarter as well. So I'm going to go ahead and revitalization. And let's see, maybe I want to be like something like sunshine, right? Maybe that's, for me, speaks about revitalization. Some plants, that looks good. So something like that is going to help me already get in the mood of this theme of this quarter. And I think moods are very important, by the way, because moods basically help you, by putting yourself in the correct mood, right, for doing anything, it helps you really be a lot more efficient in the process and ensure that you are really turning off all the negative, it's like a negative filter, right? You're filtering all the negative stuff out and all the positive stuff about this specific theme comes to fruition and it becomes very, very nice. So what we want to do is we want to now go ahead and move forward and determine our 6 areas and values that we want to focus on this quarter. So what we want to do here is we want to go ahead and say like, hey, okay, so what we have are my overall areas of competence and my overall values that I think are important for me to focus on, that are important to me in my life, or in this case, in Coixtree's life. And we're going to say which ones we want to focus on. And the ones we want to focus on, we're going to drag down into the focus this quarter category. I'm also just going to double check this and just make sure everything's here. Focus is not contained. So how come it's all there? 1 second, I'm just gonna go ahead and check where the rest of this is, because we should still have our values here. Yeah, we have our values. So values, this would not be connected. So what's going on here? There you go. Okay. Yeah, just took some time to get in. Anyway, so moving on, basically we have our areas and values, and now we're going to say, hey, based on the theme of this quarter, which are the areas that we want to focus on? And really there's no wrong answer here, I want to say, but the main thing is that you want to make sure that you are really going to choose the ones that you care about a lot this quarter. So for me, if I want to think a little about it, and I'm going to think out loud, so hopefully you guys can learn from that process as well, is that for this quarter, I think it will be very important to improve our sharing. I think that's super important. I think sharing is super important this quarter. I think we also want to improve our lifestyle, because for me it's like how we're living, how we're maintaining our systems, how we're keeping things organized. And I also want to think about our knowledge, because I think our knowledge can definitely always improve. So like, so these will be my three focuses. Again, it's okay for these to change later on too, by the way. But for now, like this is something that is going to be the defining North Star for your quarter. You think about anything you want to do. Is it focused on sharing? Is it focused on lifestyle? Is it focused on knowledge? And if it's not, then you don't do it, right? So that's the idea. And if you do find other things to do that are more important, then you should definitely swap them out, because you realize that, hey, I find myself doing a lot of tasks that are related to this area instead. How do I then instead make sure that I am, working on that area officially and intentionally, instead of just doing it like on the side? So this process will help you really realize a lot of things too about your process. It's like, how intentional am I really? Like, how often do I really follow through on my intentions when I work on anything downstream? So actually think about this for a second. I might actually even just move knowledge back up, right? And I'm going to move finances in, because I think finances are more important for this quarter. And I'm going to talk more about that as we get into more specific parts of our, review for the monthly and the weekly. So for values now, we're going to check this off now that we're done. And for values now, we're going to think about, okay, well, what we want to do here is we want to go ahead and choose the values that matter the most to us. So for sure, consistency is something that really matters to us. And we've been trying our best to be consistent this quarter already. And we want to be collaborative for sure. And we want to make a difference. I think this is really important, is that we want to make a difference this quarter, like a huge difference, a really, really big difference. So knowing that these are our three each, right? So 6, we're now going to go ahead and, start writing a blurb, right? So some pre-recorded notes, and make it and explain our decisions on outlook coming into this quarter, because I think it's important as well for us to have this so that we can compare it to our reflections after the quarter and see like, hey, what really changed? So for us, the pre-quarter notes, as I've been talking a little bit already, is, we want to be more consistent, right, with our sharing, and also improve the lifestyle, improve the state of the community. This means revamping our tools, platforms, etc., to ensure that we are collaborative, right, with our community, and starting new projects that make a significant difference. We also want to improve on finances so we can do more with the entire community, more with and for the entire community, now that we are a non-profit organization. So this is something that's very important to us, right? We definitely want to, make sure that this is the story we tell ourselves, that, hey, this is what matters to us. This is what revitalization means. And later on, after the end of the quarter, we can come back and say, hey, were we truly successful in doing this big idea of revitalization for the season? So once we've done that, as you can see, it's quite a short process for, getting the focus down. We want to go ahead and make sure we're getting the next focus down, which is the monthly review. So we're going to open up monthly review here. And like before, I'm going to open this up in a new page. I did Control and click just to open it up in a new tab, making it easier for myself. Again, same process here. We're going to set up the dates. So the month is April month. And usually what I like to do is I like to just go like a whole month like this. So like if I started on a Saturday, I end on a Friday, right? Pretty straightforward. But usually, personally, I would do starting on a Sunday and ending on a Saturday, just because Sundays usually are the times when I do most reflections. So just for the sake of this, I'm also going to do the same here. So it's okay if it's not exactly like a month to month, meaning that it's not exactly April 2nd to April 1st to May 1st or something. But the more important thing is just making sure that you have like a proper segment of your days. Roughly around 4 weeks. This might be a bit much actually, but roughly around 4 weeks. So let's go ahead and grab it until 4 weeks, something like that. So for me, this month will end probably like May 27th-ish. So what we want to do here is we want to go ahead and, relate the quarter as well. So this month is related to Q2 2023, makes sense. And I want to set the theme here. So the theme here is going to be April 2023 and for this month, this is more about, like, with big change comes small steps. So I want to specifically here say, like, jump. Yeah, I think jump. Jump makes sense to me. So we're jumping into things. Yeah, so jump, and then I think the next month will be launch, right? So that will be kind of like the way that I think about it. Like, so I think we were walking last month. Now we're going to be jumping, and then next month we're going to be launching. So I think that could be pretty cool. So again, find you an image that represents that. So I'm gonna go ahead and find an image. So I'm gonna say jump. Oops, jump right here. And then we have a jump image. Maybe that represents it pretty well. Or even just something like this, maybe. Yeah, here, this one's pretty. Yeah, that one's pretty. Even this one's super pretty as well. I like this one. So we have this as our jump picture. Perfect. And what we want to do is now referencing the areas and values we have in focus, right? So again, these are the 3 and 3 that we designed before. Now we're going to determine our goals and key results. So what we have here is we have our, actually I'm going to change this color sometime because it's hard to read everything else here. But anyway, determine our goals for on this month. Okay, so based on our areas and values, we can then decide what we want to do. So we want to move these in first. So for example, we have lifestyle here. We are sharing that we want to move over, and then finances at the end. So let's see. So sharing, finances, lifestyle. And for me, I think I'll actually organize it like this way. I wonder if there's a sort here. There's a sort. So I'm reviewing. Okay, so that's fine. So what we want to do is sharing, I think is most important, then lifestyle, then finances. So that's going to be the way I think about it. And now I'm going to think about the goals that I want to do inside each of the areas. So I think for sharing, what's important, well, for lifestyle, okay, lifestyle I think is important. So lifestyle, I think the most important thing here to talk about is we want to have more conducive spaces. So more conducive spaces. And then I'm actually going to show you something really cool here, spaces. So actually, this is not a good goal. And let me explain why. It's because this doesn't explain why you do things. Like, yes, maybe I'm doing everything else here because I want more conducive spaces, but why do I want more conducive spaces? Like, what is the end goal here of having more conducive spaces? And if I can still answer that, this means that's not a good goal, right? So the proper one is we want to ask like 5 whys, ideally. There's actually a philosophy where you ask 20 whys. That's too much, right? That's 5, right? So why do I want more conducive spaces? Well, we want people to be more connected in the community. We want there to be more conversations. We want there to be more, connections. Well, why do we want that? Why do we want more connections? Why do we want more, community engagement? Well, because we want to have, because we want to help the community, level up and get more resources they need to improve their lives. Okay, well, why do we want that? Well, because that's something that we think is very important for the community. We think people are missing these kind of spaces. People are missing a space where they can, collaborate, co-create, and, just really live better lives together. Okay, so why do we want that? Well, well, maybe we want that because we want to ensure that, that we have a purpose, that we are really fulfilling the purpose that we are setting out for the community. Okay, so you see there, we're already getting stuck. That was 5 whys in, but that's already way different than this, right? So what we want to do and what we want to make sure is that we are being as intentional as we can to get to the true whys of things, because that's really the thing that's going to be the most meaningful and most impactful. If we're following that as the direction of what we want to do, we should truly make sure that we are doing the things that are getting us closer to that as much as possible. So for here, I'm going to say, hey, okay, actually, what really matters here is we want to create meaningful, impactful experiences. Okay, so that's one thing. And we're going to fine tune the key results that actually matter here. Like, what does this even mean? Because this is great because it's vague enough for you to be like, wow, I can dream about this. But now you need to be more realistic and say, hey, what does this dream really mean, right? So now you're in the founder mindset. Hey, I'm dreaming about creating meaningful, impactful experiences. What does that mean? So I'm going to go ahead and add a few here. So One part of that is definitely the community. So we want to have a community space that enables co-creation, right? That's one thing. The next thing is we want to have, you know, personally, I think this will be really nice, is we can have a website that showcases our showcases the functions you need to live a better life and how to get it. So specifically, like, I think one thing that I've been missing that I think really I would love is if I could just simply see like a website that basically breaks down all the different things, all the different functions in your life that you could be doing that will make your life better, and exactly how we can do that thing. And ideally, they should be modeled after people that I believe to be quite successful in their own right. And ideally, the people that are successful that I want to emulate. So people that are successful in the ways specifically that I care about. So ideally, I have something like that. So that's a very meaningful, impactful experience for us. And then also, I think we want to have something like communication, right? Maybe emails that guide the user through that guides the community through that helps the community learn best practices, right? So I think that's something that we're missing, is that we haven't been communicating consistently enough and bite-sized enough, format, actually, communication bite-sized, that helps the community learn best practices. We have a lot of live streams like this, and I love doing these live streams because it helps me connect with the audience, helps me talk more with you guys, helps us build something cool together. But is it really that effective in engaging and distilling, bite-sized content for everyone to enjoy? No, right? So that's something that I think is very important. But by the way, I think that's actually more like sharing too, actually. Actually, I'm thinking more now. This all could be sharing, except for this community space that enables co-creation. So the cool thing now is that as you can keep building this, as you can see, we are actually figuring out better ways to categorize the things that we want to do. So for us to do this, like for example, if I did make a mistake and I want to reconnect this differently, so now I just duplicated this, and now instead of creating meaningful, impactful experiences, this is probably share effectively, right? So I think share effectively is something important, and I want to remove the community space part. And for this one, I'm going to remove the website part. Yeah, I think these are the two separate things. So this is share effectively. And why do we want to share effectively? I'm going to test again the 5 whys. Well, because we want people to better level up and get closer to their goals if we can just communicate better to them. And why do we want them to get closer to goals? Because that's our purpose. Okay, so once we get back to our purpose, then it's good. Like that's where like, okay, this makes sense. Like we don't need to break down our purpose even more unless you want to go into like a whole like your life. You want to shake up your whole like idea of who you are and why you are, which you should, by the way, but not in this moment. Okay, so the last one is finances. And finances for us is pretty simple. We want to ensure that we are sustainable. So sustainable can mean a lot of things to different people. For me specifically, sustainable means that we want to ensure that we are making enough from the community to support our community members as well. Because we have a lot of community members who are from more developing nations, and we really want to make sure that they have access to our systems as well, because everyone deserves access to great systems that help them level up and improve their lives. So for here, what we want to do is we want to ensure that maybe we can sponsor 100 students for 100 people, not even students, from from at-risk situations to level up. So I think that's something super important, and I'd love to be able to do that, to be able to sponsor that. Another thing that I think will be really nice a goal would be have a funded life points drive, or have a fully funded life points drive. So more important thing for this is not like a monetary target, but rather like really figuring out like, hey, if we go out and set out to say, hey, we want to raise this amount of money for this project that will improve people's lives, how many people will come out and support this? That's something super important for us, and we really need to figure that out. So we need to figure out, and these key results can change too, by the way. But we're just saying these are the high level stuff that we're thinking about right now in terms of these 3 goals. And of course, we can come back and we can change things. I already think that there's some things we can change. But right now, for all the things that we want to go ahead with, let's go ahead and move them to sharing, lifestyle, meaningful, impactful experiences. I think one more thing here is not just community space that enables co-creation, but community space that enables community space that enables conversations. So I think these ones will come with metrics that we probably want to measure at some point. But for now, these are like our high level like key results that we want. And in the next stage, we'll talk more about like exactly what are the numbers we want to do. Because we can really talk about co-creation. Like what's co-creation mean? Like we have like 5 people working with us, 10 people working with us. What does that really mean? I think that's something quite important for us to figure out. Okay, that's good enough for now. I've moved 3 things into here. And what we want to do is we also want to figure out if there's any goals, if there's any timelines related to this. And I do think there is. So the timelines for these ones will all, well, okay, I think everything comes hand in hand, but I think this one will be from here to here. Sustainable, I don't think we're going to start this quarter, but I'm going to focus on these 2 goals for now. So meaningful, impactful experiences. Hopefully we can end this in this month. This month is the main thing. We want to move community spaces. We've already built out, a new, workspaces in Notion specifically as well. So these are cool things. Masters and trackers, anything we need to focus on. So these are ones already in focus. Let's take them off. They don't matter right now. Let's see what else we want to add. Gilded role management, we're probably going to update this. So this probably is something that we want to check and focus. So let's go ahead and make sure we have the focus check mark. Actually, we just drag it out, I believe. So gilded role management. There we go. That's in focus. And what we want to do here is grab trackers as well. If there are any meaningful trackers we want to move forward. No, I think that's good enough. So we have only one thing in focus, which is our role management, which is why I put in focus is because we're going to have to update this inside our new community space as well. So that's awesome. Okay, perfect. So let's go ahead and move forward. And we want to go ahead and take our pre-month notes. So as you can see, what we want to do is we want to go ahead and make sure that we are really reflecting on what exactly decisions we're making this month, because I think it's really important for us to really figure out, hey, what exactly do we believe matters this month? Like what specifically the intention behind the way that we planned this. So for example, we can say like this month it's imperative that we level up our experiences for our members. We have been limited by our tools, and unfortunately our engagement with the community can be better. Well, actually, unfortunately or unfortunately, it doesn't matter, but we can just say our engagement with the community can be better. We want to ensure that every member coming into the family immediately has a sense of belonging and are able to level up and are able to drastically improve their abilities very quickly and participate. So I think that's what's been missing. We also want to make sure that our that content is being disseminated effectively. So that we are doing our best to reach everybody we can. Okay, so that's important. And I think that is a great start to what we want to talk about here. So again, next thing we want to do is go back to our quarterly reviews. So go back to our review cycles and finish up the last part, which is our weekly review. So weekly review, as the name suggests, is now on the week level. How do we plan to, get things done? So what we have here now is on a weekly level, we're going to set up our properties. So we want to go ahead and say, this is week 1, April 2023. And we can say this is week 1. So again, for me, I like to go ahead and end it on the Saturday. So that's what I'll do. And then that's April. And then we can go ahead, do. And this one, I don't really need to put like a theme. These ones usually I put a theme after because my week is so like, the week can be so flexible. And I think it's better for the week to be designed after the fact. So like at the end of the week, we say, hey, well, what did the theme actually mean? And that's more important to me. So what we say is that, hey, we want to fine tune our goals. So yeah, these two are both goals that we probably should focus on. So they're both goals that matter to us. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to now fine tune our key results. So based on these ones being in focus, so our goals in focus, now these key results pop up. So for example, if this goal wasn't in focus, I wouldn't have anything to do for this key result. We made it so that it's very, very focused where, hey, only the things that we choose to focus on, the downstream items we want to work on. So like, again, I said, if you find that you're working on downstream items that are not, don't have upstream focuses, you probably shouldn't work on them, or you should be changing your upstream focus your upstream should be also in focus. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense of why are you working on this? Like if it was important, you should have put it up beforehand in your direction planning, in your founder planning. So it's really something that you should be thinking about often. It's like, hey, everything that I'm doing on a day-to-day basis, how intentional is it? How close is it to what I have set out to do from the beginning? So moving forward here, now we have our key results. I think these are all key results that matter. I think just now what I said has one more thing to add here now. So I said, hey, I want to make sure there's a sense of belonging. So we want to go ahead and add as well one more thing, community space that enables sense of belonging. So these are the additional things that we're thinking about. Enables or enabling sense of belonging. Space enabling sense of belonging. So I think that's something that's really important for us to work on. Is that 3 things, right? How do we help people feel like they belong? How do we help them have conversations? How do we help them co-create? Those are 3 general ideas. Later on, we will add more specific KPIs. Like as we go through the week itself, we'll figure out what the KPIs make sense. But for now, we can go ahead and say these are our 3 things. And then for sharing effectively, bite-sized stuff, I don't think we'll be working on that this quarter, this week. It'll just be pretty hard to get that as well while we're doing everything else. The website as well, I think might be a bit tough for us to do. So this week, I'm just going to focus on, making the community space the best we can. So you can see you're already making decisions, right? At the month level, you can be like, I'm so excited. I'm so inspired. I want to do everything. But fundamentally on the week level, you should be focusing really I think 6 is too much, honestly. Like 6 is like for you if you're super productive. For me, I recommend 3, like 3 to 5. 6 maybe is good, but if you can just aim to say, hey, how can and pick, by the way, key results that you can probably complete within this week. So actually, I might even add one more key result that I can complete this week, because ideally every week you just want to complete at least 1 or 2 key results. So let's figure out what other key results that might make sense here is we want to create meaningful, impactful experiences. Something that might happen this month is, well, we want to also want to launch certain things. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out what is the most important thing right now we can be doing. Yeah, so ideally you want to come up with something so you can already see these, because they don't have clear KPIs. Most likely these will be key results that are going to last more than just a week. It's going to take at least a month. So let me look at the projects right now, because we have a few projects actually that we have that should be connected. So let's take a look at all our different projects, and it's filtered right now. So let's see. Upstream progress is that. Or focus is checked. Okay, so these are all the ones with due dates. Okay. Okay, so what we want to do is we now want to connect like our current existing ones with our goals. So you can see that some of them don't have goals. Okay, so community migration is part of this, so that's good for sure. That's something. Team spaces is for co-creation. So now we can already start like mapping them out. So for team spaces, we have co-creation. So revamp team spaces. Revamp team spaces here. Let's connect that. And then enables conversations is for the let's go ahead and connect this to circle.so. By the way, we also need to remember to put your areas. Otherwise, yeah, you might forget. Another thing here is we want to go ahead and connect this one, sense of belonging with circle as well. So let's go ahead and do lifestyle, and let's connect circle. So migrate community, there we go. So you can see these are now all moving in progress, and we can see that we can now also say that this is something that we're already moving on. So this is something in progress as well. So now we can see that there's some movement here for this. I think community space that enables co-creation should also have a component for, I'm also going to add here the component for team spaces, because I think team spaces are something that we can finish up today. So team spaces. Oh no, this is also circle.so. I mean circle.so. Okay, so now that we have this, we can now see that these are connective. I might also connect this one to content workflow since I can. So content workflow. So you can see we're already making sure that all the different projects that we want to be working on are connected meaningfully. So this is take action.ai. This one I just know because it's something I've been thinking about already. So this is take action.ai. But basically we're just connecting everything, take action. We're just connecting everything that we can to ensure that everything has a downstream. So that's okay. By the way, for key results, sometimes I don't like putting a target date on them or due date, simply because I think that sometimes it's good for key results to happen organically, because you can't really control them, right? What you can control is your actions. So you can take actions that will hopefully unlock certain things that happen. But for your key results, ideally they come out because, hey, I did create this new community, and because I created it in a way that was focused on having this key result fulfilled, ideally things happen. We enable conversation, etc., etc. So that's the way that you should be thinking about this. But we do want due dates for projects. Otherwise, they become zombie projects, and that's not good. So everything has a due date here. That's great. Some things are due soon, so we should do that as well. But micro community as circle.so, we are actually going to extend this to the end of April because I have a kind of timeline here, and I'm going to paste that into the task soon. But the timeline is like this. So we want to do something like this. And we have our timeline here, just like so. Okay. So later on, we'll add that into our to-do list. But for now, we have everything here. We created our projects. And now we're going to do our pre-week notes. So we should keep everything open so that we can kind of think about it. But basically, the things that we want to do this, so it's all about infrastructure. So this week, it's all about infrastructure. We want to finish up our team spaces so that people can co-create easily, and then create the community spaces that warmly welcomes our family members and enables them to co-create with ease. We also want to spark organic conversations to level up together. Okay, so that's something that we do in our pre-week notes. And later on in our post-week notes, we're going to come back and we're going to do our week's review. So hopefully I can, hopefully you guys are inspired a little bit by the process, because I think it's just already so fulfilling and so refreshing to know that I have a solid plan going into my quarter, my month, and my week, right? Just to refresh on a quarterly level, I know I need to revitalize everything in terms of the community. And of course, put this into perspective of your personal life as well. For me, I want to revitalize everything. I want to be more consistent. I want to improve the state of everything, revamp tools, everything, blah, blah, blah. This is the direction. Okay. Everything is going to be about revitalization and how do I, make things better by improving everything, refreshing everything. The next thing is, okay, on the month level, I'm going to jump. I'm just going to, move. I'm going to, level up our experiences. Our tools have been not perfect, so let's improve the tools so we can have better engagement. This is what we want to do. We want to get everyone have a sense of belonging, and we want people to easily be able to participate. Okay, so that's the idea, right? Again, this is inspirational. This is the founder level. I'm inspired. I want to do this. But on the weekly level, like this is the stuff I actually need to get done. Well, I want to think about it. Okay, well, it's actually about infrastructure. So this week we're going to do infrastructure, right? And we want to help people co-create easily, and we need to build the spaces that helps warmly welcome our family members. So this is the action items that we're going to do. And on a day-by-day level, we're going to go into, something like our daily planning or, get stuff done, and we're going to see that these are all the different projects that we want to work on, right? These are all the different projects that are currently in focus, and based on that, these are all the available quests that we can do that we want to go ahead and get stuff done. And it just makes it so easy. Like it's so simple once you have it mapped out like this. So I hope you guys enjoy. I really hope this is something that is insightful for you. We're going to do this every maybe we'll do it every month. We won't do this every week because I think that'll be too much. But every month we'll come back and we'll show you like, hey, this is how each week has been going. This is how the month has been going overall. We're going to close up our month review, and then we're going to go ahead and, close up our quarterly review as well. Actually, I do think, okay, how about this? I will do it this monthly, and then on the month, we'll do also the week that month is closing on. So for example, what I mean is, so when week 4 comes around, that means we're also going to be closing our April as well. So on that date, we're going to do a monthly review plus a weekly review so you guys can see what's going on. And then the next month after that, we'll do it again. And then finally, for the quarterly review, we'll do that as well so that you guys can just always have a front row seat to what's happening at the community, and also get inspiration on how you can do your reviews as well. So I hope that was helpful. Really, I hope you guys enjoy. Let me know if you have any questions. You can comment in this chat, into the comments here, or talk to me in the community. I'm always ready and willing to help. That's it for me for now. Please take care. Have a wonderful